Welcome back to Dominant Mets Nation, and welcome to all the new subscribers. Appreciate that. Welcome to the family. Thank you to all the old subscribers as well. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for your support. It means the world to me, and we are growing. This channel is growing just because of you. So keep up everything with the likes, subscriptions, helping us immensely. All right. What is not going in a positive direction is our New York Mets. They are 1-7 since the trade deadline, and they are dropping like a pile of bricks. So that sounds bad, but since the Mets have to be in the bottom six to keep their draft pick, it's not as bad as it sounds. So as long as they are in the bottom six, they will keep their draft pick. And the funny thing is, I was looking at the standings, and I want to go through that. But just so you know, this video, our main topic is going to be about Mr. Pete Alonso, and that is going to be a big hot topic about him and his future of the New York Mets. But all right, I want to just look at where we are right now in terms of the race for the worst. So we are looking to get in the bottom six at least. Right now, we stand around the 9th worst team in the Major League Baseball. So our record is, we have 51 wins. So I'm looking at teams that have at least 51 wins or less, and there's 8 teams that have 51 wins or less. The closest team that in the standings to us is the Pittsburgh Pirates. They are 51-62. The next closest are the Nationals at 50-61. And then you got the Tigers at 50-63. And last but not least, the Cardinals at 49-65. So you got 4 teams that we could jump over easily and be in the top, in the bottom 6. I keep saying top, but it is in the bottom 6. That means we would secure our draft pick. And I'm telling you, a top 6 draft pick in the draft is so important. So important. So Steve Cohen, and I'm pretty sure they made this decision and saw this a long time ago. Way before they made all those trades. They said, hey, if we're going to stink, we are going to stink. All right? So in terms of tanking, I know like everybody's saying, oh, the Mets tanking, I mean, to me, it's kind of obvious. They are tanking in a different way. Organizationally, they are tanking. You know, they're doing it as an organization right now. They're not playing their best players. You got guys who you never heard of. Rafael Ortega, guys getting time that shouldn't be in there, like Danny Mendick. I saw a lineup a couple of days ago that was like really pathetic. Stewart was batting 4th. So it's situations like that where I say it's organizational tanking. But yeah, good. It's within the rules. We need to finish in the bottom 6. It's a bit obvious right now. So yes, in a way, we are tanking. I agree about that. And it's a good thing right now for the New York Mets to tank, because we will, and we need to secure that bottom 6 slot to get a top 6 pick in the draft. That is going to help us out immensely. And the next topic, we have Brett Baty. Everybody's upset Brett Baty's going down. What's going on? He's a young prospect. Aren't we playing the young prospects? Yes, we are playing the young prospect, but the good thing, this guy, baseball is all about mental. It's all about the mental aspect of the game. It's about confidence. Even though you could be the best player in the world, and it's important about these young players too, but if you go through a streak and you can't hit the ball and your confidence isn't there, you're going to be bad, especially these young guys who haven't had the chance to overcome a big slump. Like Brett Baty, it's not like he's been in the majors a long time, like he knows he can do it. He hasn't really tasted success. So it makes all the sense in the world. Send him down, get him right, get his confidence right, get his mental space right, so he can come back up here and slug in September. Makes all the sense in the world. You know, and I've heard it from some of the best athletes. They say that when they are going wrong, they could face the worst pitcher, and the pitcher could throw the ball right down the middle, and they still won't hit if they're in that big of a funk. So send Brett Baty down, not the worst thing in the world. Have him come back in September and prove that he can be a dominant major league player in September and in the future. So I 100% agree with that send down. All right, so let's get into the big topic of the video. Pete Alonso. Should he stay or should he go? Does he belong with the Mets or should the Mets kind of ship him out with Scherzer, Verlander, and the rest of the crew? Okay, so you got a lot of positive and you got a lot of negative. The biggest positive that I can think of is he is a homegrown Met that is a premier slugger in the game. He's only 28 years old. He's been leading the majors in home runs since 2019. Not only does he hit home runs, but he's a run producer. He's had 120 RBIs multiple times in his career already. Not to mention, he might do it this year as well. You know, he's a guy who can take over the game, hit multiple home runs. He's been in a lineup right now for the last couple months. He's been like the only hitter in the damn lineup. So he's had all the pressure on his shoulders. Okay, so that's a big positive. Plus, if he gets signed to a contract, I mean, he's looking to be like an all-time Met. He could lead the Mets in hits, home runs, RBIs, many different categories. And if he won a World Series championship, he would be in a completely different stratosphere. All the homegrown Mets like Doc, Darryl, Tom Seaver, guys who have won World Series and came up through the system, they are legendary in the Mets lore, in the eyes of the fan base. So he could have that. He will be almost godlike in New York. Okay. All right, so those are a lot of big positives, you know, a lot of big positives. So let's look at some of the negatives that kind of creeped up. And after we look at these negatives, I'm going to look at more in-depth numbers this year. So some of the negatives that creeped up, especially this year, are his leadership skills that have been in question. Why can't this guy put everybody on his back? I am a premier slugger. I am one of the best home run hitters in baseball. You follow me. Have a positive attitude. It seems like it's easy to think, but it hasn't happened. It seemed like Pete has been pouting. He's been challenging pitchers on the other team. He hasn't always had the best responses in the locker room. I heard even the other day they asked him, hey, you know, what do you think about the new team? All the guys on their team. How are you going to play right now with this group of guys? And he basically said he made reference to we're going to do the best we can do with what we got here. So, you know what? It's a very subtle comment, but he kind of went, the way he said it, and I don't have the exact quote, he kind of made reference that what we do got here is very less than what we should have. And I was very disappointed by that quote, because his mentality as a leader should be is no matter who is in that damn clubhouse, we will put on our cleats and our uniform and we will put our best foot forward each and every day. The younger guys could look to me for advice. I will help each and every one of you, and our goal is to win at all costs. There should be no negativity at all. You are Major League Pro. You lead those guys, and that's it. Okay, so the leadership skills is one negative. Number two, he has been a offensive liability, and we've seen it this year. You know, he's missed a couple opportunities to turn double plays. He's booted a couple other balls. He hasn't been as quick on his feet as he has been in the last couple years. So his defensive liability is a negative. All right. Number three, his conditioning. Pete is not in the best shape, and he is only 28. As he gets older, and if he does sign a 6, 7, 8-year contract, if your body's not in the best shape at 28, it's not going to get better at 32, 33, 34, 35. So if the Mets are looking to pay him upwards of $25 million, 25 to even 30, I wouldn't even pay him that much. But if they're looking to pay him like a Matt Olson type of contract towards 160 to 200 mil, this guy has to show them that he will stay and become a better fitness guy, better in shape. He needs to do that to secure a long-term contract and for the Mets to have confidence in him. That is another negative. Also, too, another negative, I could either put this in a negative or the positive column, but the Mets are it seems like they're a long ways away currently. Next year might be a different situation if a bunch of these young guys come up and they are promising. But right now, as it stands, the Mets are a long ways away. They have no pitching. They have very little on the side of hitting besides Pete. Very little. It's Pete, Nimmo, Alvarez. That's it. There's really no guys that you can kind of build around. McNeil, I got no confidence in. I really don't. I don't care if he has 1 or 2 good games. McNeil has to do it over a long part of the season. He has not done that. So since they have not too much on the offense right now, let's see if you did trade him. You would be getting assets for him that could help in the future growth. Because you could turn one guy into 3 or 4 chips. And that might be more beneficial to the team as a whole, especially if you can get a good pitching prospect. What if a team thinks that Pete is our last piece, that you put him in the middle of the lineup and we are a World Series favorite? If there's a team out there, they might be desperate and give you a top 2 prospect, something that would be worth the while of Epler and Cohen to pull the trigger right now. That's the only way I would do it. If you asked me, would I re-sign Pete? I would say yes, because we have nothing else. And he's a homegrown Met, and I have confidence in him. But would I think about trading him? Yes. If you give me a Godfather offer and say I can overhaul your team and you will be a much better team overall for now and in the near future, I would say, how can I turn that down? Logically, if I have 1 hole to fill and I trade that 1 chip and now I can fill it with 3 or 4 holes, it makes more sense. If I get a starting pitcher, if I get another first baseman, if I plug another spot, depending what the trade package is, and I'm saying it would have to be a Godfather offer right now, I would do the trade in that respect. Okay, now let's look at some of Pete's numbers. And Pete's obviously he's not having his best offensive year this year, but I want to delve further into some of the numbers. And I was looking most recently at Baseball Savant. They look at players more in depth. All right, so let me go over Pete's numbers as overall so we know how Pete is doing. All right, so the most up-to-date numbers, Pete thus far has 34 home runs, 85 RBIs. He has an average of 226, which is also a negative. His on base is 317. That's also a negative. These are also like very, very lows. Like I'm looking, on base is a career low. Average is a career low. His OPS is decent. It's 843. But Pete is not having the best offensive year. Hands down. He's still driving in runs, and he still has the home run. He can still hit home runs like anybody else. But I want to look at his Baseball Savant, right? Usually, he's in the top category. He's in the top echelon at almost every single stat category. But this year, it's not like that. So if we go to average exit velocity, he's only in the 48th percentile. That's less than 50%. Expecting batting average, he's in the 94th percentile, so that's actually pretty good. Barrel percentage, he's in the 93rd percentile. That's elite, so anything in the 90s is elite. But then here we go, a bunch of stats where he's not elite. Whiff percentage, only 53rd percentile. Outs above average, 46th percentile. I'm sorry. The expected batting average is in the 55th percentile. WOBA, expected WOBA is in the 94th percentile. K rate percentage is 59th percentile. Chase rate 59th percentile. Hard hit rate 56th percentile. Arm strength 7th percentile. Sprint speed 17th percentile. So you have most of these categories where he's mediocre or terrible. There's only 4 categories where he's elite, and that's max exit velocity, which means he's hit like a couple balls very hard. And it's expected slugging. He's in the 95th percentile. So we have a lot of internal metrics that are saying Pete is not having a good, consistent year. He's really not. He is not consistently hitting the ball hard like he has in the past. He's really not. If you compare this to years past, his numbers, his metrics are way down. Way down. Yes, you could blame it on the injury when he was hit by Charlie Morton, but right now he's come back from that injury. It's been like a month and a half now, and he's still not consistently putting it together. As of late, yes, he's been streaky and hitting home runs, driving in runs, but it's not the same consistent Pete. So a 28-year-old Pete who's inconsistent, my philosophy is when players get older, especially in the non-steroid age, they don't get better. They don't. So if there's a way you can capitalize and get extreme maximum value for him, kind of like you did in the Max Scherzer trade, you capitalize. You really do. So that is my opinion. What do you think about that? Do you think we should trade him? Do you think it depends on the package? How do you feel about Pete? Do you think he's a guy who can be here for the next 10 years and excel? Because my ultimate goal is I want to win a World Series. I'm looking for World Series championship players. That's what I'm looking for. If I feel you're not going to be of that level, then I'm going to look elsewhere and try to find other players that can be of that level. Like a Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter had the mentality that no matter what, he was a killer. He was going to win. Michael Jordan, I know there's not many people like him, but these guys had elite mental games. Kobe Bryant, another guy with an elite mental approach. So the Mets have to look for these kind of like guys with killer instincts, and they have to have guys with killer mental approaches and guys who can lead the team. Because if you can influence others to raise and elevate their game, it doesn't only help one player, it helps the whole team. That's why you appoint a guy like Derek Jeter as the captain. So stuff like that I look at, and those are the type of players I'm looking at, and those are the type of players I think Steve Cohen, with his maximum investment, is looking at too. You can kind of see he's drafting these hard-nosed players. He's going after these hard-nosed players in trade. Drew Gilbert, the guy they got from Houston, the center fielder. He's a guy who would run to a brick wall. He wants to win no matter what. He's a hard-nosed player. That's what Steve Cohen is looking for. Jet Williams, another guy kind of like that. He is looking for a certain guys with mental makeup, guys who are leaders, guys who have the right mental approach, and guys who are good clubhouse guys. So what do you think about all of that? I really appreciate your feedback. I appreciate all the great, wonderful comments. Like I keep saying, they blow me away. Like I'm shocked. I mean, I think that we have like the best comments in our community. Really, we have intelligent, bright people, knowledgeable people. I watch other videos of other fans. I don't see comments like we have in our community. It's ridiculous. Everybody here are so knowledgeable, so passionate, and that's what I love. It motivates me to try to be better, motivates me, and it teaches me. It really does. I learned so much from you, so please keep it up. I can't thank you enough. Again, if you could like, subscribe. If you find even a tiny thing of value, appreciate the like. Appreciate the subscription. It does mean a lot. It does help out the channel immensely. If you have any suggestions, send those through as well. Like I said, I've learned a lot from each and every one of you. And I'm going to sign off right now, like I always do, with the Mets. Let's go Mets. It can't get any worse, but it probably will. Have a great day. See you next time.